Hello and welcome back to the River Medlock journey. This is episode 10 and you join us where we left off in episode 9 in the middle of a hellhole of a river culvert. This is the last of the big culverts on the River Medlock. From here the river heads towards Castlefield and then finally onwards to its confluence with the River Weir. Let me show you on a map exactly where we are in Manchester. Now our journey begins here, where the cursor is, and you can see the river disappears into the culvert. And we're going under the home cinema complex. There's bars there, there's restaurants, but it used to be very different because that area used to be the Gaythorne gasworks. So we'll revisit that in a moment. The journey continues and it's only a short journey round the corner to a place called Knott Mill. And here the river disappears, and I'll show you that as well. Now onwards you can see that the Canal sort of complex comes in now and intersects the river. You've got the Castlefield basin and it's where the Rochdale Canal and the Bridgewater Canal meet. Now you can see where the cursor is now. That is now where the river carries on, the natural course of the river, and it runs onwards towards the River Weir. So let's jump back into the culvert. A miserable place. What I'll do is I'll negotiate some of this and then I'll speak to you so far up, because you can see it's going to be difficult to negotiate that. The annoying thing is at the other side it's really shallow. It's like a summer walk again. Anyway, I'll speak to you in a minute. You get the impression though what we're walking in. Shit, how deep is this bit now? Does it go lesser over there? This is horrendous. It's better over here actually. Better over here. Whenever it gets to about knee deep, it just gets above knee deep, it gets intimidating. Yeah. So this culvert that we're in, what's the history above it? Well, here's an aerial photograph from 1928, and above us in that culvert, as you can see here, used to be the Gaythorne gasworks. Like I say, this is 1928 and the green arrow there that you see is pointing out the big sort of black grey hulk of the Gaythorne gasworks that dominated the area. The blue arrow that you see just shows where the River Medlock re-emerges from the culvert that we're currently in, and we'll be walking through there in a bit. Just for reference, you'll see that there's a red arrow there pointing to the corner building. That building later became Manchester's famous Hacienda nightclub. So a little bit of reference for you there. Here's another aerial view. I'll let you look at this as well. Now the Gaythorne Gasworks has its roots in the 1825 Provincial Portable Gas Company of London, and they built a works on the site and they compressed gas into copper cylinders and distributed it to their customers. In 1837 the gasworks was bought and converted into a standard gasworks, and it produced gas and piped gas to customers around the Chorlton upon Medlock area. By about 1929 it was considered out of date and it was just basically used as a gas distribution point. I'm not fully sure of the story behind this picture, but it's entitled Desperate People in 1950 Loading Up Coal at the Gaythorne Gasworks. Eventually the gasworks was pulled down and the land was decontaminated, and as I said earlier, the First Street and Home Cinema complex was built on the site. There used to be a bit of a nod to the gasworks opposite the Hacienda Club. I'm not even sure if this is still here, but it's quite wonderful. Now, amazingly, the culvert we're in, I found a picture of it. This picture's dated 1903, and this is that culvert we've just been in. It looks like the gasworks is being pulled down, or it's certainly not being built because it dates earlier than 1903, but that's the culvert, and that's the River Medlock. Here's another picture of it. Now, that cross section through the gasworks there reminds me very much of the earlier video that I did about the Gold Street gasworks or Rochdale Road gasworks. Absolutely fantastic pictures. So there you go. So I think we're underneath City Road, and this would have probably been the original bridge for it. You can see there, and then they've obviously widened everything, and you'll see a continuation there. That was fairly grim in there, to be honest with you. Fairly grim indeed. Nice girder there. A lot of bricks in the river at this point. I wonder if there's been demolition at the sides and they've just let it all go in the river. Right, so you know where we are. I think these are called the Owen Street skyscrapers up there. Round the corner there, I think the Medlock finally meets Castlefield Basin. So I think we're getting near Journey's End now, so I'll keep filming, and we're just round the corner. We should finally meet the end. This has been very challenging. It's been the most challenging part of the Medlock, I think, this, and I never thought it would be. Anyway, let's crack on. We're going to the siphon at Castlefield. What's interesting here is you see the stone there, which is extremely old, obviously. Yeah. But right next to it is the very, very, very modern. So it's amazing the way you've got that sort of like contrast between really old stone there, and then obviously the new skyscrapers. And as you look ahead there, look at that there, a piece of very old Manchester you can see there. Well, I don't know what I'm looking at, but there's some sort of arch there. Yeah. And if you look along the entire wall, it's full of them, isn't it? It's full of all sorts of outlets there. Yeah. So that wall that we're looking at looks like the base and the remains of a very old building, and it is. Take a look at the 1888 map. That's our direction of travel with the red arrow, and look to the left. It looks like it's the remains of Knott Mill ironworks. And over on the right, you see those buildings there? Well, one of those buildings was the Brazil Mill. Here's some pictures of that as well. Oops, shit, you know. Well, here we are. Nearly falling, yeah. Journey's End. Well, it's not the end of the Medlock, but from here now, the Medlock, what it does is, it was very clever. James Brindley, the canal engineer, made it go forward to feed Castlefield Basin and give a flow of water or supply water to the Bridgewater Canal at Castlefield. There's something very interesting down there because they also plunge the excess water down a siphon which goes underneath Castlefield. I'm amazed we've got here. I thought we'd have to miss this bit out because you can't see this bit from the street. We're going to go up here now and have a look. It's been substantially altered over the years, and it got altered a lot in the 1800s. But we'll see if we can show you the siphon. This is where it gets quite interesting. The water's getting quite fast here now.
Yeah, that's off as we're going up.
You can see ahead. So this was some sort of station here. It was some sort of wheel where they controlled the flow of the Medlock. And you'll see here, I think it used to go onwards there. It used to go through there and feed the Bridgewater, but now because of the Rochdale Canal, it doesn't need to. So it now goes underneath there into a siphon. So we'll go and see how we can get near to that. See all the old works here. There is a goose over there, yeah. You see this, all this mechanism, and the old steps up there. And apparently there used to be somebody based up there that used to monitor the Medlock all the time.
I'm guessing it's as deep as that.
I don't know how deep it is. It doesn't look that deep, to be honest with you, does it? So it's amazing to be here to see where the Medlock finally dips under Castlefield. All big blocks of stone here on the sides, as you can see. So the river would have gone this way, where it now stops, and they've obviously built on the side here, this bit, as you can see, this bit of stone there. Proper, you can tell it's old and canal sort of engineering, that, can't you? And then the river plunges down there. Is we'll go and look a bit over here behind me, and we'll see where the river used to feed the Bridgewater Canal. Oh, it's full, that, isn't it? Yeah. Very full. That's scary. So this is Knott Mill Bridge in Manchester. You can see there the original stone of the bridge, absolutely beautiful. Well covered. On the street you can't see any of this at all. But as we peer through there, that goes through to Castlefield Canal Basin and the start of the Bridgewater Canal. And there looks like another bridge there, I'm not quite sure. Quite fascinating. Then as we look along where we've just been, you'll see the steps there and the walkway going along to the weir mechanism. They could decide whether the river ran through into the canal basin or divert it underneath the tunnel that goes underneath Castlefield. We'll take a look at that because there's more to that just to have a quick look at. So we'll get another bit of a closer look at that area now. get the shots. I'm never coming back here as long as I live. So, jump forward a couple of weeks. We were in the Medlock a few weeks ago. I'm just doing this little extra bit for you. This is Deansgate, believe it or not. This is the lower part of Deansgate, and this is Knott Mill Bridge. Knott Mill Bridge is there. So where I've just been showing you is underneath us. The Medlock is there behind that wall. Now, when we were in the Medlock and you saw that mechanism, that I was never happy because I never completely filmed that mechanism to my satisfaction. So I've come back today dodging the rain, and I've got my ladder with me. Now I've had my ladder for about a year. You've seen it before. I'm going to put it against the wall and take a look over and try and get a close-up for you of the weir mechanism. And as it's been raining really heavily, we can take a look at the Medlock now in full flow. So let's get the ladder up and take a look. Right, it's just starting to rain. I've got my ladder, my portable ladder. Let's go and have a look. So with a bit of luck, we'll get the shot, and I won't get in trouble off the police. Right, so Mark, who's filming me, is going to have to foot the ladder while I go up there, so take over, Mark. Oh, it's in full flow. Beautiful. The difference is staggering, isn't it? Where the water is diverting down there, we sat on that wall. Charlie had a cigarette, I had a drink. The siphon there, you can see, can hardly cope with the flow of water. Now that's what I've just been looking down, getting the camera shots of, and look at the difference. Incredible. The power of that, absolutely scary. But there's the weir mechanism. That's what I wanted to show you. The old weir mechanism, and I think that's what they use to divert it, either down to regulate the flow, either down the siphon or onwards towards Castlefield, and so I believe. But one of the things I want to do, I want to show you a picture from 1936 of this view that you're looking at now, and of the mechanism and the weir. So just take a look at this from 1936. Right, so I've got that shot there, but I want to get a shot from the side, because I want to look at the wall that's here to see how high the Medlock is up the wall. So let's just take the ladder round and take a look at the side wall. This is the building site, by the way, for those skyscrapers. Right, let's have a look at this. Camera. Okay, so this didn't work out very well. I was trying to show you how high up the wall it came, where I walked up to that wall and filmed over it underneath Knott Mill Bridge, but I couldn't quite see it, and then the camera focuses on the fence, and a bit of a pointless one, this one, but anyway, you get the idea. And what I want to show you is as well, so where you saw that water when I showed you underneath the Knott Mill bridge, it actually runs underneath these apartments here, and down there you can see the water. So that runs through to Castlefield. So on the other side of those apartments is there. You can see. And here is that area on the 1813 map. I'm sorry if I'm labouring the point. I suppose I'm doing it as much for me as you really and trying to understand it. Anyway, the white arrow is where the siphon is, and we've just been looking at the river running really fast at the white arrow at Knott Mill there. I walked across the road to the red X and I showed you the apartments. Now obviously that building was the building much prior to the apartments, but that's where the water was underneath the building. The black M is where I currently am. That's where I'm filming, and I'm showing you Castlefield there, the Castlefield Basin. The River Medlock is now in its culvert in a tunnel, and it's over where it re-emerges where the blue arrow is and carries on as a normal river up there in that area of Castlefield. But if you look at Castlefield now, and if you flip back to some of the previous Google Maps I've shown you of Castlefield, you'll see how much more of a simple affair it is in 1813. It was going to probably blow up as more and more sort of like little side wharfs got built and warehouses got built. This became an industrial hub where all the canal boats came in from the Bridgewater and the Rochdale Canal. But at the moment, the Castlefield there that we're looking at is a much more simple affair. Anyway, let's flick back to the current Castlefield. But the Medlock used to flow through here and feed this basin. I'll run through here for you under this tunnel. Let's go. And it used to feed Castlefield Basin with its water. Now, herein lies the question. 1700s, late 1700s, Medlock's flowing this way into Castlefield Basin to feed the Bridgewater Canal with its water. Rochdale Canal at the time didn't exist. Let's just go down here. So, great idea to have a river filling or feeding the Bridgewater Canal. It was a brilliant idea. However, come industry and all the mills and all the factories alongside of the Medlock, and they started to foul it up and just discharge their waste into the Medlock, along with sewage that was going into it as well. So it was washing into here foul smelling, putrid, black, horrible water, and the Bridgewater Canal Company didn't want that. Also, it was causing a problem with silting as well. It was bringing lots of silt into the Bridgewater Canal. So this became an issue. So at some point in the early 1800s, they built that siphon, and I think that's when they did it, early 1800s, and it's so they could send the Medlock underneath via the siphon into a culvert round Castlefield to rejoin its natural riverbed over there somewhere. Okay, so now the Medlock is now in a tunnel underneath here and goes that way underneath Castlefield. I think eventually what happened was when the Rochdale Canal was built, the Bridgewater Canal Company had an agreement with the Rochdale Canal Company to use the water to feed the entire basin and the Bridgewater Canal from the Rochdale Canal. Rochdale Canal being fed by big reservoirs up on the moors. Anyway, putting a time on that or putting a date on that siphon, that culvert that the Medlock is now in, is very difficult. I've had a word with Jeff, our friend who wrote the book The Lost Waterways of Manchester, and even he's finding it difficult to pin it down to an exact date. He did, however, send me some really interesting information, and it's from a newspaper cutting from a very old newspaper. I think it's dated 1896, but I'll just cut to this newspaper cutting now. This is really good. So here we go. Here's the newspaper cutting that Jeff has very kindly sent to us, and it's from the Manchester Courier and Lancashire General Advertiser, Saturday, August 11th, 1849. Let's take a look at what it says. So here it is, and it's actually a really good article. It talks about the filth that was coming in from the Medlock, and it uses that word effluvia. But I'll start it off, and this is the interesting bit. It says, a few years since, the trustees of the canal foreseeing that the Medlock water must be turned out of the canal, constructed at very great expense a tunnel under Castlefield down into the River Weir, and which tunnel is capable of taking the whole of the waters from the river. It was also in contemplation at that period to arrange with the Rochdale Canal Company to pass down their canal a larger quantity of pure water to supply any deficiency that might be experienced in the Bridgewater Canal. And the Medlock water was no longer used. So there you go. They've made an arrangement with the Rochdale Canal to supply water, and they no longer want the waters of the Medlock. So at some point previous to 1849 and after 1769, was it, when the Bridgewater Canal was built, that siphon, that culvert was built to divert the Medlock away from the Castlefield basin. All very, very fascinating. Anyway, let's go back to the current Castlefield.
So there you go, that was really interesting, weren't it? And I find the whole thing fascinating, honestly, I really do. It's absolutely amazing. Anyway, from a rainy day, we're going to cut back to a few weeks ago in summer when the weather was much better and the Medlock was much lower, to me and Charlie, and we'll round off the video. Challenge. So from here at Castlefield, where the Medlock finally plunges down into siphon and disappears under Castlefield for a bit and re-emerges the other side. Thanks for watching, and thanks Charlie for sort of encouraging me on, because we almost ditched it, didn't we, at some point there, but it's amazing to be here, and you can't get to this bit from the street. Anyway, from Castlefield on the River Medlock, thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye for now.